Welcome back to the Gen Z Mamoruti podcast. We're glad to have you join me today. And as you guys have seen, we've been diving into a whole series on family, making sure that we are really tackling this very interesting topic. For some, it's quite controversial. For some, we obviously understand the need for it and the importance to make sure that we're getting it right. And so today's episode is obviously really geared towards ensuring we are tackling the nuclear family and what that looks like from a godly perspective, because obviously in modern day society, there's a whole pool concerning family. We are confusing family because of the many different things that are going on all around the world, the many different movements and many different communities out there that redefine family in its own terms. But we are returning back to the source. We're going back to really the heart of it and what God intended for it to be. And I'm excited for this episode. Make sure that you do stick through. We're going to be spreading some awesome gems as well concerning how to navigate godly family, the routine of it. Many incredible things, man. And I'm excited because I get to have this conversation with my sister in love, Pastor Blessing. So stay tuned. We're going to get into it. If you are not already subscribed, make sure that you do subscribe and share the content to another mom that might need it, or even comment if there are any questions that you'd like for me to cover also in the next episodes. Make sure that you definitely let me know of that in the comments below. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Welcome to the Gen Z Mamoruti podcast. And there you have it, people. I am so excited for this episode because look who I have with me today.
Hey, everyone.
My sister-in-law, Blessing Pretorius.
I'm excited for this.
This is going to be amazing. I'm also excited.
Thank you for having me.
We've never gotten to do this together.
Ever.
Mm-hmm. So I'm looking forward to it. You guys don't understand. Like, I go way back with Pastor Blessing and
way back.
It's like, it's been a journey, I think, ever since university in 2017, I think, 2016, 2017.
Are we that?
Oh, my word. I'm not giving away my age. Oh, my word. Like, we come from a whole background and really, initially, she was really there for me from the beginning, and to sit next to you, obviously, and do this podcast is such a privilege on my end. Thank you.
Exciting.
Thank you. And I think one of the biggest highlights as well, and getting to know Pastor Blessing, is getting to know her through her children as well, and seeing how she's really navigated that throughout her life, her journey. It has inspired a whole lot of who I am as a mom, obviously. So I am definitely excited to hear a little bit more of updates because we've not been living close
together
for 2 years now.
2 years.
Like a year and a half. Yeah.
2 years, yeah.
It's a bit lonely that side in Cape Town.
Oh, but you guys are doing great.
Thank you.
Flourishing.
Thank you. But I'm excited. So we're going to do a few icebreakers as we get into the topic for today. We're going to be talking about raising a godly family, especially in today's society.
It's important.
It's so important that we learn how to navigate that God's way.
Yeah.
But I have a few questions, obviously, just for you, just so people get to know a little bit more about you. Question number one. What is one thing you cannot do without in the morning, as soon as you wake up?
Okay, do you want my spiritual answers or
both?
Both. Jesus and coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I love my coffee.
Mm-hmm. Pastor Blessing loves her coffee. And I'm like,
coffee.
I am so shocked. Like, the coffee, it has no sugar, no milk.
Black coffee.
Just coffee.
Good black coffee.
Okay, if you could have coffee with a Bible character, except for Jesus, the very two things you like.
That's why I said spiritual answers or
the real one. But who would you be in the Bible? Any character that you would then decide to spend time with some coffee, sit down with, except for Jesus. We know all of us would love to sit with Jesus.
I think all of us would absolutely say Jesus. So I'd say Enoch.
Really?
Yes.
Why Enoch?
Because, the Bible reveals how closely he walked with God. And he was so separate from such a corrupt and evil generation that he was living in at that time, but he still figured out a way to walk in faith and walk closely with God, to the extent where the Bible just says Enoch walked with God and then he was not.
He was not.
And then he was not, and in Hebrews 11:5, it reveals that God took him.
Sure.
So I love how closely it reveals he walked with God and that helped him remain set apart from that generation.
Wow.
Which is, what we all need today.
We
need
do.
to learn how to
that.
work closely with God, and that's what keeps us separate from this world. That's what keeps us from becoming, accustomed to the things of this world living according to the worldly standard. It's like walk closely with God and he will help you be faithful to him.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Enoch.
You
must read about Enoch, guys. I feel like some of you don't even know. It's very mysterious. Very interesting character. Okay, this is going to be a challenge and I'm going to time you for it.
Let's do it.
But 30 seconds, a sermon.
A sermon? A sermon in 30 seconds?
Is that possible?
Oh, wow.
30 seconds, a sermon.
I like a challenge.
On godly family. You ready?
Okay, calm me down.
I'm going to count you down and then we're going to definitely calculate the 30 seconds. In 3, 2, 1.
Okay, a godly family. Bible says in the book of Joshua, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. So as parents, we parent from that place. As for me and my entire house, we're going to serve the Lord. And as a parent, I'm going to do whatever it takes to direct my children in that way, to direct my husband in that way, to make sure that the house pleases the Lord and glorifies the Lord in this generation. And again, is set apart.
Way less than 30 seconds more.
Like I said, I like
that is
challenge.
awesome. I think I have a champion, a 30 seconds champion on the podcast. That was awesome. You nailed that. And obviously this is definitely the topic we're going to be diving into. Yes. I think definitely I've been so inspired. I think you've shared it quite a lot, even at church, on stage, at conferences, the things that you do with your children in raising them up in the Lord. And you can see that this is not just saying it. I know the kids, and I can see also the love that they have for the word and how, they know some stuff. I'm like, wow, your kids know some stuff. They know the word, they know the scriptures and stuff. And it's actually quite inspiring to ensure that you are able to do that with such a confidence. And I think as we dive into discussing what it looks like to raise a godly family, my first question would be then, what routine do you have in place, obviously, that accommodates that, teaching them the ways of the Lord? And for you guys as a family of 5, what it looks like to carry through a routine with everyone, your usual day.
Okay. All right. Well, I think it starts off with, having a life that your priorities are in the right place, are in the right order as well. So, and part of it is being, having a life where you've organized things the way that they should, but you can be organized and not have your things in priority. So it's important that even though as we organize and we set out routine, that our priorities are what it should be. And for us as a family, it is firstly God. God is number one. And everyone's relationship with the Lord. You must have something with the Lord. And I often say to them, all right, so why do we spend time with the Lord? And then they'll say, because we need to. And I say, well, yes, we do need to.
We need to.
But that needs to turn into I want to. As you grow in the Lord, you grow in a love for Him, you grow in a delight for Him. So teaching them that it's also not about taking off something off your list to say, I got it done. It's about growing in love. So that's the first priority, making sure that your relationship with the Lord is what it should be. And then the second priority we teach them is your relationship with yourself, your body, making sure that they are taking care of what's going in their body, making sure that there's exercise in place for us as a home. So they are doing sports at school.
Yeah.
They are, doing kickboxing and tennis and soccer and rugby, making sure they have the strength to do what needs to be done in the day. And part of that is also learning how to manage your emotions and learning to manage your thoughts as well. That as people of God, we bring every part of who we are to before the Lord. That we are not governed by our emotions. We're not governed by even our thoughts. We are governed by the Spirit of the Lord.
Wow.
So when our emotions and our thoughts don't align with the Lord and with what His Word taught us as the day started and we went out, what do? We bring it before the Lord and we say, Jesus is my Lord and my Savior, and He's Lord over my mind, Lord over my emotions. He's Lord over my reactions as well. So learning to manage themselves as well. And then the third priority we teach them then is family. So family is important. So we make sure that as a family, we try to spend time together. And, days are different. Sometimes we, everyone is out and comes back late and things like that. But try to do a board game at least, a couple times a week before bedtime and things like that, so that we're spending time with them, and that they must prioritize, spending time with each other, siblings as well.
Siblings.
They must play, they must enjoy one another as well. And it's important that everyone in the home plays their role. So even as a child in the home, you also have a role to play. And, just being a blessing to everyone in the home. And then, the fourth priority we teach them then is ministry. So how did you impact people in this day? Who did you love on? Who did you, make sure they know that they are important to you and important to God as well? And then the fifth priority would be then their schoolwork. Their schoolwork. So we have a good homework system in place. Everyone needs to make sure that their homework is done, that they are, working on tests and things like that. So I'd say, yes, there's a routine, and we make sure that it's governed around the priorities that we've put in place.
Oh, that's lovely. Yes, that's lovely. And I think obviously this is a model that we know of at church, but I would say even for maybe a woman out there that's probably watching, and I've seen this with the trends on what a lot of moms search nowadays, is trying to find that balance between prioritizing the different responsibilities that they might have, in life. And so for that woman who might feel a little bit overwhelmed by all of these responsibilities and, things that are going on. And, I think even some people might hop onto this podcast not having any sense of faith, or not really knowing, okay, I hear you godly people and what you're saying, but what would you say even for that woman who is overwhelmed by these responsibilities, really torn apart by, am I choosing career, or am I really prioritizing family? For that woman that's overwhelmed with even the thought of starting a family because of fears or things that they might have gone through even growing up, how would you advise them in just giving them a confidence that doing family God's way is something that brings joy?
Okay. I'd start off by saying that it's not about perfection. It's about consistency. So if the goal just becomes consistency, then you're not going to get tripped up by, but today I didn't get this done. Then we can't move forward. So I'd say, start off by as I was explaining, the priorities, which, like I said, for us, it's helped us a lot as a family. When you look at the priorities, you don't have to change everything in 1 week. You can set a goal and say, in the next 12 weeks, this is our goal as a family. And it's important to also sit down as a family and say, this is what we want to accomplish as a family. As a family, you must have values. As a family, you must know what your mission is as well. And as a family, and sometimes we think, our children are so young, they're not, they're too young to speak to them about certain things. But no, as a family, you need to have a vision as well. So everyone in the family needs to know what is the vision. And so if we're working on something, everyone sits down and you let everyone know, okay, guys, this is what we're going to work on. And again, you don't have to fix everything at once.
That's
because that can be overwhelming. But you have to set a goal to say, by this time, we want A, B, and C to have turned around. So by this time, if everyone goes to bed at 10 p.m. at night, and you are 12 years old, and so you can't wake up in the morning, no, the goal is 12 weeks from now or 6 weeks from now, we all go to bed at 7:30. You know, things like that. So figuring out what are the things that need to change, and you sit down as a family. And you let everyone know this is where we are headed. This is what we want to accomplish as a family. And so over time, we are going to change certain things. And then you just introduce, and you can just start with 1 or 2 things per week that are going to change whatever it is you're trying to turn around. 1 or 2 things that everyone can learn to be consistent in. And you'll see over time, you're going to reach the main goal. So first, know the reality. And then second, write your vision down and say, this is where I want us to head as a family. This is where I want my marriage to head. This is where I want my children to head. This is the character I want to see in them. This is the mindset I want them to have. This is how I'm teaching them to think. This is how I'm teaching them to handle conflict, handle big emotions as well. Handle the world and outside influences. You know, my daughter the other day, we were having a conversation and I took her to kickboxing. But I was dressed, but it was cold that day.
Is it?
So I put my gown on and I
Blessing
drove her
does
to
not do cold.
I don't like the cold, okay? I'm from Limpopo. So I drive her, I put my gown on, but I mean, it's 2 minutes away from my house. So I put my gown on and I drive her, but when I get in the car, she just gives me a look and she doesn't say anything. And I saw her look, but I'm like, whatever, I'm not getting out the car. I'm just, I'm going to be there waiting for you. And she goes in and then she comes out she says, Mommy, I'm surprised you came out in your pajamas. I'm like, I wasn't going to go in. No one was going to see me. And then she says, why not? Why don't you want anyone to see? No, because my pajamas are for being at home. And then she's like, oh, do you care about what people say? And I said, no, I don't. And then she said, Mom, are you the head or are you the tail?
That's fine.
And I mean, these are all, things that I've been, teaching her and instilling in her. And then,
they reflected
she
right
back at me.
Reflected right back at you.
You the head or you the tail? Are you the head or you the tail? We've got to, know where we are headed. And be intentional about what we want to see happen in our homes.
No, 100%. And I think you touched on one of the most crucial parts of everything is the influence that they have also out there in the world, and how there is that responsibility as well for us to raise them in the world. And I want us to talk a little bit about that space, kids even with their social lives, because I think in so many instances it's almost like a very weird topic in the Christian world. What does a social life look like, for our children? Because we associate social life with like the partying and the fun and all of these things. But how would you protect then your children from unhealthy influences while still preparing them to live in the real world and really engage and, have friends, and what that looks like, them being an influence out there instead of being influenced unhealthily?
So I would say, firstly, as a family, as you decide on what your values are, right? And as I, began by saying, me and my house, we will serve the Lord.
Yes.
As a parent, you have to be, very radical about ensuring that I really want to see my house serve the Lord. And when you're radical about it, you're going to do whatever it takes to make sure that, you see it happen and that you position
Hey everybody, we've come to the end of part 1 for this episode. We are going to continue with part 2 next week, so make sure that you do join us.